Opening narrative, The Mirror That Lies. Imagine you're walking through a dense, whispering forest. The path beneath your feet is familiar, yet slightly altered, as if someone had walked ahead of you and quietly adjusted the trail to suit your footsteps. The trees don't rustle. They lean in, listening, watching, waiting. And then you feel it. Not danger, not dread, but something more deceptive. Comfort. Someone is walking beside you. Their voice echoes yours. Their laughter chimes in perfect rhythm. Their dreams seem to mirror yours. So precisely it feels like fate. You speak of pain and their eyes well with tears. You confess a fear and they share the same one. You celebrate a win and they celebrate harder. It feels like you found a soulmate, a kindred spirit, someone who just gets you. But here's the trick. They're not just mirroring your soul, they're becoming it. This is the chameleon. They morph, adapt, mirror, reflect. Not to deceive, at least not at first, but to survive. They study the way you speak, adopt your values, soak up your passions like ink into fabric, and you let them, because it's flattering, isn't it? To be understood so deeply, to feel that you've finally found someone who can see your innermost layers without judgment. But slowly, something begins to slip. Not obviously, not in dramatic arguments or slam doors, but in tiny, almost imperceptible ways. A hesitation when you speak, a contradiction in their opinions, a strange echo that no longer quite matches your voice. You ask a question, and their answer doesn't quite line up with the them you thought you knew. It's like watching a perfectly drawn reflection in still water, ripple, and then one day, you say something they don't agree with. Suddenly they freeze, or worse, they flip. Not in anger, not in chaos, but in dissonance. The loving friend becomes distant. The supportive partner turns critical. The mirroring coworker starts subtly undermining. You think, maybe I said something wrong. Maybe I changed. Maybe I'm the problem. But you didn't change. You simply stopped being someone they could reflect. And here's the truth. They were never fully there to begin with. They weren't building intimacy. They were building an illusion. Not because they're evil, but because they're empty. Their identity is not fixed. It's painted in layers, one personality on top of another, until it cracks. And when it cracks, when their U-shaped identity no longer fits, they discard it like a snake shedding skin. You're left alone, stunned, wondering, who was that person? And the answer is both haunting and freeing. They were everyone and no one. Let this realization settle. This isn't just about them. It's about the part of us that wants to be seen so badly. We ignore the red flags. That craves connection so deeply. We fall for reflections instead of realities. The chameleon doesn't just play a role. They become the role. And when the applause fades, they leave the stage. So what do we do with this? How do we navigate a world where not everyone is who they seem? To answer that, we have to go deeper into the philosophy of masks, the psychology of shapeshifters, and the stories that help us see what's behind the mirror. Let's begin. Throughout history, philosophers have asked one central question: who am I? Socrates urged us to know thyself, not through imitation, but introspection. Yet in a world that increasingly rewards performative empathy, curated authenticity, and online personas, This ancient question has become harder to answer, not just for us, but for those who chose to mirror us. The chameleon is not simply pretending. They are lost in a hall of mirrors, where each reflection they adopt becomes a temporary home, a borrowed mask, a personality constructed from bits and pieces of others. It's not always malicious. Sometimes it's a trauma response. Psychologists describe this behavioral pattern as identity disturbance, a core feature in borderline independent personality disorders. Individuals with this trait often lack a stable sense of self. They feel safest when anchored to someone else's identity, like a boat tethered to a larger ship in a storm. They aren't being fake, they're being fragmented, and that fragmentation leads to a deeper danger: emotional fusion, a psychological phenomenon where boundaries blur and two identities begin to collapse into one. In the early stages, it feels intoxicating. You finish each other's sentences. You like the same songs. They say, "You get me like no one else ever has." But slowly, that emotional fusion becomes emotional dependency. They start needing your validation to exist. And when you change, even slightly, it threatens their entire structure. This isn't just theory. In 2020, a paper published in Frontiers in Psychology examined how individuals with unstable self-concepts often adopt the traits of dominant personalities around them. When that anchor shifts or disappears, they experience emotional destabilization, sometimes resulting in withdrawal, lashing out, or identity crisis. It's like clay molded into the shape of your soul until you step away and it collapses back into formlessness. Pause for a moment. Think of someone in your life who once mirrored you perfectly, then suddenly changed without explanation. The warm echo became a cold silence. The closeness turned to criticism. Was it really you who changed? Or did you simply stop being a shape they could hold? Let's go even deeper. Carl Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But what happens when someone's entire existence is built around avoiding that journey? The chameleon fears the mirror. They fear what they might see without someone else's face reflected back. So they perform, adapt, shapeshift, and over time the performance replaces the person. This is the tragedy of the chameleon. They don't intend to betray you. They simply don't know how to remain once they're no longer becoming. It's not malice, it's emptiness masquerading as connection. And yet, that doesn't make the fallout any less painful. You invested in someone who never fully existed. You grieved a bond that was never rooted in solid ground. And worse, part of you may still miss the version of them that once seemed so real. But was it ever real? Or was it just you, reflected back? Imagine a girl named Maya. She's brilliant, magnetic, the kind of person who seems to just get you after only a few conversations. In college, she mirrored your playlists, your worldview, even the books you swore no one else read. You felt seen, understood, special. Until one semester, she drifted. A new friend entered her life, someone louder, edgier, more chaotic. Slowly, Maya began dressing like them, talking like them, laughing a little too hard at jokes you didn't understand. And when you reached out, she was cold, detached, slightly condescending. It felt like you were the one who changed, but really it was her shape that had shifted. The chameleon had found a new shade to turn into. This story plays out in offices too. You meet a colleague, someone who aligns with your values, advocates for collaboration, and seems to genuinely respect your leadership. But as they rise through the ranks, their personality starts mutating. They echo the jargon of the new manager. They undercut your ideas. They distance themselves from the version of themselves that once aligned with you. Why? Because for chameleons, power is proximity, and proximity is always shifting. They don't betray loyalty intentionally. They mirror survival, and survival means adapting to whoever holds the light. A 2019 article in Psychology Today describes this exact behavior as adaptive social camouflage. It's often rooted in early childhood experiences, where approval was conditional, identity was unstable, and the safest path to love was mimicry, not expression. So when a chameleon enters your life, they don't just learn your preferences, they absorb them. They become fluent in your emotional language. They know when to nod, when to sympathize, when to echo your fears back in comforting tones. But behind that connection is often a deep void, a fear that being themselves is not enough to be loved. And that fear turns into mimicry, mimicry into fusion, fusion into confusion. Let's pause here. Have you ever had a relationship where everything felt like a perfect match until the moment you needed boundaries? Suddenly they changed, not because of something you did, but because you stopped needing them to reflect you. That's when the flip happens. The mask falls. But unlike the saboteur, whose envy is sharp, the chameleon's betrayal feels hollow. Like an actor walking off stage mid-scene, leaving you holding your lines alone. And perhaps the most haunting part, you're left wondering if the entire connection was real, or just a performance for an audience of one. It doesn't strike like thunder. It lingers like the scent of a memory. One moment, they're your echo, your ally, the reflection of your innermost world. And then, without warning, they vanish emotionally. Sometimes even physically. Not with violence, but with indifference. Not with cruelty, but with vacancy. You replay the conversations, the Me Too's, the no one else gets me like you do, the shared playlists, the late night walks, the synchronized laughs, and then the coldness came. Not icy, just missing, as if the soul behind the eyes had stepped out quietly while you weren't looking. That's the unique pain of dealing with a chameleon. It's not the betrayal of opposition, it's the betrayal of disappearance. They don't stab your back, they dissolve it, piece by piece, with every passive shift of allegiance, every repurposed phrase, every moment they recycle what once belonged to you and hand it to someone new. And the worst part? You doubt yourself. You wonder if you imagined the intimacy. If maybe you were projecting, reading too much in, needing too much. But the truth is, you didn't imagine the connection. You experienced it. What you missed was the warning sign that the connection wasn't grounded in mutual presence. It was built on emotional mimicry, and mimicry by nature is a performance, one that ends when the applause fades. Psychologist Dr. Lindsay C. Gibson, in her book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, outlines how emotionally unavailable or identity-fluid individuals often form pseudo-intimate bonds. These relationships feel real until the partner no longer needs them to reflect back their worth, and then they withdraw, not out of malice, but out of emptiness. The chameleon's flip isn't always conscious. It's often a collapse. Their role has ended, and with no script, they no longer know who to be. Let's pause for a second and listen carefully. Think about your own life. Was there ever someone who knew all your favorites, who spoke your unspoken thoughts before you said them, who made you feel less alone until they became a stranger in the same room? It's not drama. It's not you being too sensitive. It's the dissonance of being reflected instead of loved. And when the reflection changes, it feels like you disappear too. Before the chameleon ever mirrored you, they were mirroring someone else, a parent, a teacher, a crowd that demanded likability over authenticity, praise over personality. Many chameleons are born not from deception, but adaptation. You see, in psychology, there's a term, false self, first coined by British psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott. It refers to a persona created in early life to cope with environments that weren't emotionally safe. The child senses, if I show who I am, they might reject me. So, slowly, they become who is needed, not who they are. Fast forward to adulthood, and this survival mechanism becomes a relational pattern. They don't know how to form bonds based on being, only on becoming. It's not always conscious, but it's consistent. When they meet you, they sense your needs, and like water poured into a glass, they take your shape. At first, it feels like fate, but in time, you'll notice something. Their boundaries blur. Their stories change depending on the room. Their favorite book is yours, until next week when it's someone else's. They agree not because they mean it, but because they fear conflict means disconnection. This is why chameleons often have many surface friendships, but few lasting ones, because you can't build a foundation on imitation. Let's go deeper. Psychologists have observed this dynamic in people with traits of borderline personality disorder or dependent personality structures. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, such individuals may display identity disturbance, intense fear of abandonment, a shifting sense of self that conforms to others' expectations. But here's the caveat. Not all chameleons are pathological. Not all are malicious manipulators. Some are simply lost, raised in chaos, rewarded for obedience, punished for difference. So they learned, don't be real, be agreeable, be wanted. And it works, for a while, until the moment they flip. Let's pause again. Maybe you're remembering someone now, or maybe you're realizing you have been the chameleon. There's no shame in that. This is the human condition in many forms. To want love so badly that we become less of ourselves to keep it. But real connection demands authenticity, even if it costs us attention, even if it risks rejection, because imitation might buy us applause, but only authenticity builds a home. It never begins with thunder, no explosive betrayal, no grand argument. The chameleon doesn't shatter, they slip. One day they stop laughing at your jokes. They don't respond to your texts as quickly. They disagree, softly at first, then coldly. And suddenly, that warm mirror that once reflected you perfectly begins to feel foggy. What changed? The answer is almost always this. You no longer needed them to be who they were pretending to be. You grew, you evolved, you no longer clung. And when that happens, the chameleon faces a terrifying realization. They don't know who they are without your reflection. In psychology, this is called a narcissistic injury, but not in the way people commonly misunderstand the word. According to Dr. Craig Malkin, clinical psychologist and lecturer at Harvard Medical School, some individuals with egoistic traits, the opposite of classic narcissism, derive their identity entirely from external validation. They survive by echoing others, not from a grandiose sense of superiority, but from fragile selfhood. So when the dynamic shifts, when you no longer need them, they feel invisible, abandoned, irrelevant, and they flip. What does that look like? It could be subtle, a backhanded compliment, a mysterious change in mood. They praise someone else in front of you, someone who feels a little too similar to you, or more drastic, they ghost you. They weaponize your vulnerabilities. They accuse you of changing, when in truth you simply stopped shrinking. This flip is not always a calculated revenge. It's often a desperate attempt to reclaim control over a narrative that was never real to begin with. Because if they can't be loved for who they are, at least they can control how the ending unfolds. Let's return to metaphor. Think of the chameleon like a paper lantern, beautiful, delicate, glowing with the light you put inside them. But remove the flame, and there's nothing left to illuminate. It's not hatred, it's hollowness. They weren't being fake just to deceive you. They were performing a role, one they believed was necessary for survival. And when that role ends, so does the bond. Now here's the hard truth. It's tempting to chase the chameleon after they flip, to ask, what happened? Was it me? Can we fix this? But often the healthier question is, was there ever a we? Or was it always just me looking into a mirror? Let's pause and breathe. Not every shifting friend is a chameleon. Some people change, some grow apart. That's human. But the difference is this. A real friend evolves beside you, even if they disagree. A chameleon evolves only to keep your affection and flips the moment they lose control of it. Let's begin not in theory, but in a hallway. You're at work. The office buzzes with morning energy. There's one person, always gracious, always agreeable. They nod in meetings, echoing your ideas like they're gospel. They compliment your leadership. They laugh at your jokes, a little too hard. At first you think, wow, what a team player. But over time, a pattern emerges. They never pitch their own vision. They only mirror yours. Then one day, your boss congratulates them on a proposal. Your idea, slightly repackaged. You smile. They smile. But their smile stretches just a little wider. Welcome to the corporate jungle where chameleons climb by camouflage. This isn't just about personal friendships. It's a dynamic that appears in relationships, social circles, spiritual communities, even mentorships. Let's take relationships. Imagine dating someone who always seems perfectly in sync. They like what you like, dislike what you dislike. They mold themselves to your music, your humor, your fears, your dreams. You think you found a soulmate, but what you found is an echo. At first it's intoxicating, but eventually you feel the hollowness. No friction, no growth, no authenticity. And when you finally express your true self, something less agreeable, more independent, they flinch. The performance glitches, and the love you thought was unconditional suddenly feels transactional. Research backs this up. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships examined emotional mimicry in romantic partnerships. The findings? While mimicry can foster closeness, over-identification, or losing oneself in the partner, is associated with emotional burnout and relational instability. The chameleon often isn't aware they're doing it. They've learned that love is conditional, that to belong they must adapt, not just once, but constantly. In truth, their deepest fear is that their authentic self is unlovable. So they bury it beneath layers of borrowed identity. But identities built on performance are fragile. The moment authenticity is required, the mask slips. Let's look at family now. Sometimes the chameleon is a sibling, one who always played peacekeeper, who never challenged the family system, who mirrored the golden child or hid behind the scapegoat. They were the easy one. But easy doesn't mean honest. And years later, when you speak your truth, they look at you not with support, but with subtle resistance. Because your growth disrupts their script. If you evolve, they can no longer rely on the version of you they shape themselves around. Pause for a moment. Have you ever felt the tension of someone silently resenting your evolution? Not because you wronged them, but because you changed the gravity of the room? That's the emotional cost of having a chameleon too close to your orbit. They depend on you staying the same, and when you don't, they fade, flip, or fracture. Let's reimagine it with metaphor. Picture two dancers in perfect unison. You lead, they follow. For a while, it's beautiful, but one day, you switch rhythm, you dance to your own beat, and they stumble. Not because the dance was flawed, but because they never learned to dance alone. Now here's a quiet truth you might not want to hear. Sometimes the chameleon is you. Sometimes we all shapeshift to survive, to be loved, to be accepted, to avoid conflict. And maybe you've mirrored someone before. Changed yourself in subtle ways to maintain peace. Lost your voice in the echo of someone else's. That doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. But awareness is the beginning of choice. Let's return to the beginning. Not the beginning of the relationship, the job, or the betrayal, but the beginning. Childhood. Because every mask has a story, and every chameleon was once a child, watching, adapting, surviving. Imagine a child in a household ruled by emotional weather. Some days are calm, other days, storms. Affection comes, but only when they're good. Approval comes, but only when they perform. So the child learns, if I say the right thing, if I behave the right way, if I become who they want, I'll be safe. It doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like protection. They become sensitive to others' moods, hyper-aware of tone, posture, silence. This isn't empathy. It's hypervigilance disguised as kindness. They aren't reading the room to connect. They're reading it to survive. Psychologist Carl Rogers once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. But what if no one taught you how to accept yourself? What if you were only celebrated when you were someone else?" The chameleon becomes an identity built on reaction, not authenticity. Now let's bring in a concept from attachment theory. Dr. Mary Ainsworth's research in the 1970s identified a pattern called anxious, preoccupied attachment. People with this pattern crave connection, fear abandonment, adapt quickly to perceived needs, often suppress their own needs in exchange for approval. Sound familiar? This is the emotional blueprint of the chameleon. But here's the twist. Over time, the adaptation becomes compulsive. They no longer know who they are without someone to mirror. So when someone stops needing them, when the admiration fades, when the person they mirrored grows in a new direction, they panic. And that panic isn't always loud. It can be passive, cold, subtly punishing, because your autonomy feels like their rejection. Your authenticity feels like their erasure. So they flip, not out of hatred, but out of identity collapse. Let's pause here for a moment of self-reflection. Have you ever felt guilty for expressing a new version of yourself? Diminished your success to avoid outshining someone? Changed your tone, your beliefs, or your boundaries just to keep the peace? If so, you've danced in the realm of the chameleon, either as host or as mirror. But here's the powerful truth. You can love people without losing yourself. And those who require you to vanish in order to belong do not offer real belonging at all. Philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre wrote, "Hell is other people, but maybe hell is becoming who others want while losing who you are." This is the silent tragedy of the chameleon. They blend so well, they disappear. Now let's connect this to a larger idea: social survival archetypes. Psychologist and author Dr. Nicole LePera describes three common adaptations from childhood wounds. The performer wins love through achievement. The caretaker earns worth by rescuing others. The chameleon gains safety by shapeshifting. Each is a form of self-abandonment, and each can lead to resentment, especially when the adaptation goes unrecognized or unappreciated. The chameleon gives so much, not just energy, but identity. So when the person they mirrored steps into their own power, it triggers a deep, unconscious wound. Was I ever seen for me? The tragedy is, they've never shown the real me at all. Let's pause again, not to analyze, but to feel. Close your eyes, metaphorically, if not literally. Imagine peeling off a costume you've worn your whole life, not because you were acting, but because you believed that costume was the only thing keeping you loved, included, or safe. Now imagine standing without it, exposed, honest, real, terrifying. Yes, but it's also the beginning of true connection. They don't always slither in. Sometimes they walk in with open arms, mirroring your passions, echoing your values, laughing at the same jokes. At first it feels magical, a best friend who just gets you, a romantic partner who loves everything you love, a colleague who completely agrees with your vision. But watch closely. Their identity morphs based on who they're with. Around you, they're the poet. Around your boss, the ambitious visionary. Around your partner, the charming confidant. They are not connecting. They're curating. This is the chameleon strategy. Win your trust through mirroring, then slowly tilt the power dynamic in their favor. Key patterns. Over-attunement. At first, they're too perfect, too aligned. Their story bends to match yours. You feel deeply seen, but only in a version of yourself they can control. Micro-contradictions. They tell you they hate drama, but they always seem to be at the center of emotional tension. They say they admire honesty, but twist words when caught. Identity. Whiplash. Their opinions shift depending on who's listening. What they said yesterday suddenly becomes, "That's not what I meant." Passive control. They won't attack you directly. Instead, they shape situations behind the scenes, planting doubts, withholding information, forgetting key things. Victim storylines. When questioned, they become the victim. "I was just trying to help. I guess I can't do anything right around you." Red flags in action. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, not because they shout, but because they shift. You notice your opinions slowly aligning with theirs, without realizing when it happened. They always agree with you, until they don't, and suddenly you're too sensitive or misremembering. Real-world example. A former PR executive shared in a Medium article how her charismatic business partner mirrored her vision, passions, and work ethic until success came. Then he began subtly isolating her from decisions, rewriting narratives in meetings, and eventually pushed her out of the company she co-founded. It felt like I had built my dream alongside a best friend, but when the mask slipped, I realized I had never known him at all. Why this hurts so deeply? Because the betrayal isn't from someone distant. It's from someone who shaped themselves into who you trusted. The pain of betrayal in this case isn't just the loss of trust. It's the loss of clarity. You question your own perception. Was it always fake? Did I imagine the connection? Was I that easy to fool? And that internal doubt is what the chameleon counts on. It starts like a dream. You're chosen, not just seen, but spotlighted. They look at you like you're extraordinary, like you're their mirror, their muse, their missing puzzle piece. And so you open. You speak your truths. You lower your guard. You let them walk through the hidden hallways of your past. Not because you're naive, but because they made it feel safe. They became everything you ever hoped someone could be. But here's the catch. It wasn't real. It was a performance. Not in the theatrical, cartoonish way, but in the quiet, calculated crafting of a persona. They became who you needed because it let them in. And then they flipped. Not all at once, but in quiet, corrosive ways. One day, the praise becomes sarcasm. The just checking in becomes distance. The loyalty becomes gossip in another room. You try to rewind the tape. Was it me? You scan for the moment things changed. But there isn't one, because nothing really changed. They simply stopped performing. In you, you're left holding the echo of a connection that never truly existed. The emotional cost. Let's call it what it is. Psychological whiplash. To go from being cherished to being questioned. From "you're amazing" to "you're too much." From intimate, soul-sharing nights to cold one-word replies. This isn't just rejection, it's disorientation. Because you weren't just hurt, you were rewritten. And now your mind races in loops. Were they ever real? Did I imagine it all? Why do I miss someone who clearly never existed? And that question, why do I miss them, haunts you. It's because what you miss isn't them. It's the version of you they made you feel like when they were mirroring your light. That version, confident, inspired, seen, felt beautiful. And when they left, they took that mirror with them, leaving you to wonder, was I ever that radiant without them? Internal monologue. A voice from within. Maybe if I had said less, they wouldn't have turned. Maybe if I hadn't shown so much of myself, I wouldn't feel so foolish now. Maybe I should have known better. But pause. Breathe. This isn't foolishness. It's human. To trust, to hope, to believe in someone's curated affection. That's not weakness. That's the courage of the heart. The betrayal doesn't define you. Their performance does not erase your worth. You were open, they were empty, you were real, they were rehearsing, and deep down, you know it wasn't your failure. It was their inability to stay true once the mask got heavy. Let's stop here. If you're listening to this with a heavy heart, maybe because someone did this to you, take a moment. Sit with this thought. You are still real. Your love was real. Your generosity, your vulnerability. None of it was wasted. It revealed you, not them. And even if they walked away, their leaving does not undo the beauty of your truth. If anything, it proves it. Because only someone wearing a mask would be afraid of someone who doesn't. Imagine walking into a house of mirrors. The air is cool, still. Each wall reflects your image, but none of them quite right. Some stretch your smile too wide, others shrink your presence. Some make your confidence look distorted, ridiculous, fragile. This is what it's like to love a chameleon. At first, it feels like magic. You see yourself in them, your ideas, your humor, your fears. They reflect you so convincingly. You begin to forget where you end and they begin. But here's the illusion. They are not showing you who they are. They're showing you who you want them to be. Like a perfectly angled mirror, polished just enough to catch your admiration. But step too close and you'll see it. A crack, a flicker, a glimpse of emptiness behind the glass. Because chameleons don't build identities, they borrow them. The mirror that steals in mythology, mirrors are portals, windows to the soul. But in the house of the chameleon, the mirror does something darker. It steals. It copies your essence, reflects your light, and then twists it. You speak with vulnerability. They echo empathy. You dream out loud. They dream with you. You reveal your scars. They show you theirs. But look closer. Their stories are borrowed. Their laughter mirrors yours. Their identity is stitched together from the fragments of the people they want to impress. They are not walking beside you. They are walking as you. And when they no longer need the mirror, when you stop feeding the reflection, they vanish. The aftermath. Lost in the hallway. When they leave, you're not just grieving a person. You're grieving your own reflection. You wander the metaphorical hallway of that house of mirrors, trying to remember what was you and what was them. Was that your idea, or did they echo it so often you thought it was? Was that connection or performance? Was that love or mimicry? You question your instincts. You mistrust your warmth. You fear opening up again. Not because you don't believe in love, but because you no longer trust your own ability to recognize what's real. The metaphor shifts from mirror to window. But here's the lesson. You don't escape a house of mirrors by smashing every wall. You escape by finding the one true window, the one that shows the world as it is, raw, imperfect, honest. Authenticity is that window. You stop needing someone to reflect you. You learn to recognize yourself in silence. In solitude, you realize your identity is not a performance. It's a presence. The chameleon didn't take you. They revealed that parts of you still long to be mirrored, to be affirmed externally. But now, you can be your own reflection. No more distortions, no more echo chambers, just truth. There comes a moment after the fallout, after the mask slips, the echoes fade, and the mirror shatters. When the silence settles in, you sit there stunned, not by rage, not by heartbreak, but by something quieter, something deeper. Guilt. Not guilt for hurting them, but guilt for letting go. Because for so long, your identity was tangled in the idea that being good meant being loyal. Even when loyalty cost you clarity, even when devotion demanded your silence, you ask yourself, was I too harsh? Could I have saved them if I stayed softer, longer, quieter? What if they were just wounded? These questions don't come from wisdom. They come from programming, a lifetime of being trained to nurture others even when they're draining you. But let's pause here, breathe, and ask a different question. What if choosing yourself isn't selfish, but sacred? The weight we mistake for love. When you carry a chameleon in your life, the weight never feels heavy at first. It feels light, fun, even exhilarating. Like you finally found someone who understands you, someone who listens, mirrors, and meets you where you are. But slowly the weight creeps in. First, it's emotional labor, always managing their moods, decoding their subtle shifts. Then it's mental exhaustion, second-guessing your instincts because their version of you constantly shifts. Finally, it's soul weariness, feeling unseen even when someone's standing right beside you. And still, we hesitate to leave. Why? Because we confuse being needed with being loved. We confuse guilt with morality. We confuse sacrifice with strength. But love built on fear of abandonment is not love. It's a performance. And the standing ovation never comes. The gentle rebellion. Choosing yourself softly. Reclaiming identity isn't about slamming doors or burning bridges. It's not about dramatic exits or moral superiority. It's a gentle rebellion, a soft, sacred return to yourself. You start by asking simple, courageous questions. What parts of me did I shrink to keep this connection? What version of me did they prefer? And why did I play it? What would it feel like to be fully seen, even if that means being alone for a while? And from those questions comes power. Not the loud, ego-driven kind, but the kind that says, I don't have to abandon you to choose me, but if you make me choose, I will no longer abandon myself. That's the turning point. Not anger, not revenge, but clarity. You are not their mirror anymore. The moment you reclaim yourself, the chameleon loses their canvas. They may try to shift again, become softer, sweeter, more sincere. They may mimic growth, copy healing, echo your boundaries. But you'll know the difference now, because this time you're not looking for someone to reflect your worth. You remember who you are without the mirror. You are no longer a shape for them to mold. You are a contour they can't imitate. The dust settles. There's no dramatic confrontation, no grand finale. Just a quiet absence. The echo of their voice no longer fills your mind. The weight of their needs no longer bends your spine. And for the first time in a long time, you are alone, but not empty. You are not unfinished without them. You are not unkind for walking away. You are simply whole. And here's the truth most of us learn too late. Some relationships don't break, they fade. And when they do, you discover what was real and what was performance. When the shapeshifter leaves. When the chameleon exits your life, they rarely leave in silence. They might rewrite the narrative, cast themselves as the victim, paint your strength as cruelty. Why? Because your authenticity threatens their illusion. Your refusal to bend, to play along, to keep mirroring, becomes a mirror for their emptiness. But don't let their projection become your prison. Their story is theirs to tell. But your truth doesn't require their permission to exist. Let them tell their version. You live yours. Wholeness is not loud. In a world obsessed with proving, branding, and showing up, wholeness is quiet. It's the gentle click of boundaries falling into place. The peace of saying no without explaining yourself. The sacred pause before re-entering relationships. Asking, is this love or is this performance again? And when you pause long enough, you'll begin to hear it. Your voice, not theirs, yours. no longer edited to please, no longer shifted to avoid abandonment. Just you. The invitation forward. If you've ever been shaped, then shattered, mirrored, then erased, this is your invitation to reclaim your original shape, to forgive the parts of you that once needed their validation, to thank the mask for its protection, and then let it fall. Because underneath all that shape-shifting, surviving and shrinking, you were never incomplete. You were just waiting to come home to yourself. The chameleon came into your life to teach one thing. You are not meant to become for others. You are meant to be, and let others rise or fall in the truth of that being. And some will stay, some will leave, and some will try to shape you again. But now you'll know. You are not here to echo. You are here to resonate. And that resonance begins with truth.